Hello and welcome to the spring semester of American Government. I'm Charles Cooper. I will be your instructor. I just wanted to give you a real quick overview of how to navigate Canvas in case this is your first exposure to this LMS or platform. I went ahead and for the home base or the home page, which should be the first page that once you log into that you see, I went ahead and put some instructions here for the first week of class until you get used to the navigation methods. Now, you're not going to see this stuff over here, I don't believe, to the right, and you're not going to see all this other stuff to the left that's shaded. But on the navigation side menu, you will see all this stuff. And honestly, to navigate, and I'm not saying ignore any of these, but the most important ones are going to be your home page, your syllabus, your modules, and your grade pages. So those four. Assignments, discussions, quizzes, those are all embedded within your modules page. So the first thing, once you, so as far as navigation, that's really all you need to know. You can also go to the calendar and click on that, and it's going to show you when certain assignments are due. And again, your view is not going to be exactly like this. You're going to see some of my assignments from last semester. So today is January 21st, or 20th rather, and we've got all of these assignments opened up yesterday, and they're going to be due either on Friday or on Sunday, and the different color-coded rectangles are indicative of the different courses. So you should only have one color, either blue or this gold color. So let's go back to the main page. Once I'm done with this video, I'm going to embed it right here above the Twitter feed. And usually once a week, every couple weeks, or whenever I need to do like a specific update on something, I'll make a video and post it here. I'll also send out an email, usually with a link to the video, so that you can either watch it within this window or click on the link in the email and have access to the video. One of the easiest ways to contact me or to ask for help is going to be through Twitter, and you can follow me at Thrasymachus, right, Chia. I'm probably not going to follow you back. I usually only follow other educators, but it's a really quick way that you can send me a message saying, hey, the test won't open, or I'm having this issue or that problem. And I guess while we're on the topic of communication, the sooner you communicate with me, the better. Please don't wait until the last second to let me know that your computer isn't working well, or that you got kicked out of a quiz, and then you notify me 3 days later that you got kicked out of a quiz. Please communicate early and communicate often, especially if you have questions or you're having a problem. And the other way to contact me is through the email within Canvas. Please don't email me to my nctc.edu account. I do get those emails, but I don't check them that frequently because I'm mainly an online instructor. So if you'll shoot me an email through the Canvas email system, I'll get those pretty quickly. I usually answer you within an hour or two at the most. If you shoot me a tweet, I get to you pretty quickly because I always have my phone on me. And those are the two main ways to get a hold of me. As we scroll down to the bottom of this page, you'll see sort of my outline summary, my philosophy of how I teach American government, and that'll just give you a view of basically what you're in for this semester as far as my approach to teaching government. Let's go down to syllabus. It's very important that you read the syllabus and understand the syllabus in its entirety, especially as it pertains to grades. So here's some contact information, some gobbledygook about, and I'm speaking tongue-in-cheek, of course. We're going to have 8 exams. That's going to be half of your grade. 3 graded written assignments. That's going to be 20% of your grade. One of my big sticking items is if you don't cite your sources, it's basically plagiarism. Please cite your sources in your papers that require citations. We're going to have 1 weekly reading quiz for each of the chapters, and that really, honestly, it's 15% of your grade, but if you divide it by 14 quizzes. Each quiz is about 1% of your grade, so it's not, life altering if you do super well or not so hot on one of them. The main reason I do this is it gives you a preview to what's going to be on the exams. And so essentially what you do is you take the reading quiz for Chapter 1 and then Chapter 2, and those two reading quizzes together give you a preview of what's going to be covered on the unit or module exam. And that way, when you take the exam, it's not going to be your first exposure to those questions. Now, the questions do change. They are randomized, both the order of the questions themselves and the answers within the questions. But it gives you a nice preview, so you're not completely caught by surprise when you get to that unit exam. And there is no final exam, so there's no cumulative exam. So as you're going through these exams, all 8 of these are going to deal only with that particular unit. So the Chapter 1 and 2 exam will only deal with Chapter 1 and 2, and then basically you're not ever going to see those questions again. So moving from reading quizzes down to the weekly discussion forums, this is where people, I guess, get hurt the most as far as grades are concerned, especially earlier on in the semester. You're going to have two grades per assignment. So the Chapter 1 reading discussion forum will give you a prompt. You are to address the prompt personally after you read the chapter. And I want you to give me some sort of citation or some sort of page number when you answer the question to back up what it is that you have to say. So it needs to be a thoughtful response as well as some sort of citation. If you get your information from CNN.com or Fox News or something like that, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure that you give me the website exactly where you got it from, just like you would in a research paper. And then the second part, so your first post is due by midnight Wednesday every week. Your second post is going to be a reply to another student's post. And quite often what I get is a one-sentence reply that'll say something like, "Dear student A, I agree with everything you said. That's awesome." That's not an academic response. I'm looking for deep thinking. So your second reply is going to be, or should be, in the same mindset as your first post. So your second reply is going to be a reply to another student's post, and when you say, "I really agree with what you said," I want you to take it further. "I agree with what you said because," and then give some reasons. And usually the first couple weeks I won't count off too much, but at that point, once I send you a message saying, "Hey, I want some deeper thinking," or "I want you to walk me through your thoughts," and that kind of stuff, that's when I start taking off, honestly, a lot of points, usually 25 to 50%. So whatever efforts you put into your first post, which should be significant, it should be 3 or 4 sentences at the very least. You need a citation, and then when you reply to another student's post, that should also be significant, 3 or 4 sentences where you extend upon and build on that student's comment. Now let me go back to the home page. I went ahead and put a video on the first home page, or rather the home page, entitled "Adding Depth to Your Reply Posts 2," and I'm going to keep that up permanently so that you can go back and reference this as far as specifically what I'm looking for your second post on these forum discussions. And the reason I'm going into depth with these instructions is because this is where people tend to do the worst at the beginning of the semester. And so if we get to the end of the semester and you've got a 79 or an 89 and you're looking for that extra point to kick you up to the next grade level, I'm going to go through mainly your posts to see what your replies were like. Were they in depth? Did you put in a lot of thought and effort into it? And if you didn't, then I'm not going to bump you up that point. Okay, so now we're scrolling down in the syllabus a little bit further. Grading policy, here are the exams. Please read this. Quizzes, please read this as well, 15%. GWAs are just graded written assignments, and again, please read those. Discussion forums, basically everything I just said verbally you're going to find in the syllabus. Here's the calendar, just so that you can prepare for your spring break, basically. If you're going out of town, just please realize that this is an online course, And most places, Starbucks, McDonald's, Barnes & Noble, have free Wi-Fi. So if you're planning on going out of town for spring break and you haven't done certain assignments, I'm not going to make any exceptions for those. So plan accordingly, please. Grading scale is pretty much what you're going to find in every other class. You have your students' rights and responsibilities, some services, that kind of stuff. Down here at the bottom, you've got a whole list of assignments and stuff. I don't want you to be overwhelmed by this, and as a matter of fact, I want you to ignore it. All of these assignments just pop up, and I haven't figured out a way to shut these down. So ignore the due dates. For example, February 27th for Chapter 5 reading quiz. That's obviously not accurate, so ignore those. What is accurate is going to be this static calendar that you find here. Pay attention to this, not the one down there. Okay, so let's go to modules, where everything, all of your assignments, reading assignments, quizzes, graded written assignments, forum discussion posts, all of that's going to show up in this modules tab. And you'll see that open for right now, Module 1, January 20th to February 1st. And you should go through this in order, chronologically. You certainly don't have to. You can skip around if you want. But I've got learning objectives, key terms, chapter outlines, PowerPoints, that kind of stuff you're going to find here. Your first grading written assignment is assigned right now, and it's due February 15th. And you simply click, and it'll take you to the page that houses the instructions for this first writing assignment. And the first assignment is a research paper, again, in red. Properly cite your references. Please, please, please cite. Here are some questions to ask yourself as you're writing the paper. So let's go back to modules. And you'll see Chapter 1 discussion forum. Remember that the first post by you, where you reply to the post, to the forum, is due by midnight Wednesday. The second one, where you reply to another student, is due by midnight Sunday. The rest of the stuff is not graded. They're just resources for you to take advantage of. And then as we get down to the end of Chapter 1, you'll see your PowerPoint, and then the Chapter 1 reading quiz. Click on that, and then take the quiz when you're ready. You get 2 attempts, and I take the highest grade. So if you make a 90 on the first one and a 95 on the second one, I'm taking the 95. So at the end of the first week, that's all you have to do. At the beginning of the second week, and these are all in the calendar, so Chapter 2 discussion forum does not open up early. After you're done with week 1 on February 1st, Chapter 2 discussion forum opens up, and again, Wednesday, reply to the prompt with a citation. Midnight Sunday, reply to another student's post thoughtfully. We'll scroll down and we'll see the Chapter 2 reading quiz is due January 30th. And then the first module exam, which covers only Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, is going to be due by February 1st. And that's basically the breakdown for the first 2 weeks of school. We'll go down to grades. Actually, I can't go to grades because I would reveal some personal information, but you would click on grades to see what your average is in the course. At the end of the semester, I will drop 1 or 2 grades in the forum discussion posts as well as the chapter reading quizzes, and that's all really just determined by where everybody is in their grades. Once I drop that 1 or 2 grades, I don't curve anything else. And so if I drop a couple grades and you end up with an 89, I'm not going to bump you up that extra point. So once again, go back to the home page. Please follow these instructions. Watch this video, of course. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email or shoot me a tweet on Twitter, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Can't wait to learn from you this semester, and I look forward to your first papers and first quizzes and first discussion posts. Y'all keep it real.